Umar Ali asks, do I need wudu to read the Quran in English? And can I carry it in my backpack, etc. to work just to read? Now, the Quran, it should be understood, the Mus'haf. The Quran is actually the words of Allah, right? The Mus'haf is the physical, copy of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the actual Mus'haf. Now, the scholars, the vast majority of scholars have said that you should be in a state of wudu in order to recite the Quran. However, what is the not to recite, to touch the Quran, to touch the Mus'haf, right, the book. But what is the Mus'haf? The English translation or any translation is not a Mus'haf. It is not considered to be a Mus'haf. It is considered to be a translation of the Quran. And of course, it's good to read that. And it's good to get the general gist of the meaning of the Quran. Bismillah. This is my right hand, but the camera flips it. So as for taking the English translation of the Quran, even if you're just reading the English translation of the Quran, you do not need wudu to touch it. As for reading the Quran, reciting the Quran in the Arabic language, you do not need wudu to recite it if you're not touching the Mus'haf. But if you're touching the Mus'haf, where it has the entire Mus'haf, the whole Quran in one book, that is called a Mus'haf. And according to the vast majority of scholars, you need wudu to touch it. All right? And some scholars, they say you don't need wudu to touch it because they said the whole Quran was not a book in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. However, to me, Allah knows best, it does seem to be a stronger view that you should touch, if you're going to touch the Mus'haf, which is the Arabic Quran, the Quran in Arabic, then you should be in a state of wudu. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that no one touches it illa al-muttahharu, except for those who are clean, right? That, yes, some scholars say it refers to the angels and it refers to Lawh al-Mahfuz. Other scholars do say, even from the Salaf, they said it's referring to the Quran. And as for those scholars who say the Quran was not in a book at the time of the Prophet ﷺ when these ayat were being revealed, that is true. However, Allah also says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. Allah says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. That is a book in which there is no doubt. So clearly there was an intent for it to be put together in a book. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. So to be on the safe side, make wudu when you recite, when you touch the Mus'haf. And the Mus'haf means the whole Quran. However, if it is a tafsir or a book that contains ayat of the Quran, then this is not considered to be a Mus'haf. Likewise, if it's a Mus'haf which has both Arabic and English in it, then it is not considered to be a Mus'haf. A Mus'haf is a Mus'haf when it is like the overwhelming majority of it is the Quran. The overwhelming majority of it. And Allah knows best.